Hey guys, happy Monday. It is about 3:30 here in Hawaii, Monday afternoon. And today I wanted to talk to you about anxiety. You know, I wrestle with anxiety a lot on a daily basis. Yeah, and I worry a lot about big things and little things and always trying to prepare for the worst case scenarios. Let me take out my makeup because I know I'm gonna end up shaking this table, but my anxiety's been especially heavy these days. If you are signed up for my weekly newsletter, you probably already read about me sharing how I just broke down one day during a workout and ended up crying in public, and it was awful. But then I shared something really cool that happened after that. And I won't get into that now, but even though I don't doubt this at all. I know that Brandon and I were called out to Maui. I know that we stepped out in faith to move here. And as we're trying our best to figure out the best way to help people, I can't help but feel anxiety about the crushing expectations that we're putting on ourselves. Some examples of that are, the fear of blowing through our savings and not having anything to show for it at the end of it. Another one that likes to, be on repeat is, who am I to teach anyone anything, right? Because, along the way, while we were traveling and on our transition to Maui, I've met so many of you guys, and I have nothing but like the utmost love and respect for you. And so it's easy for me to be surrounded by you guys and just think like, what do I have to offer that would be of value to you, right? The other thing I find myself doing once in a while, just to for entertainment, I suppose, I'm already thinking about backup jobs. If I blow as a coach and if I don't help anyone, well, then I can always go and find a waitressing job. I have a ton of waitressing experience. That's always an option. Maybe I'll go work at a hotel, or maybe I'll go teach at the local elementary school, right? So I'm doing all these things to kind of help soften the fear and anxiety I have about doing what I'm trying to do. And as I'm examining these fears, I'm reminded of this test that I took. It's called the Big 5 personality test. And I scored really high in one of the dimensions of personality, which is neuroticism. And I know when you first hear that word, it's like, ooh, because that was how I felt about it. But the psychology definition of it is, neuroticism is measured by the general sensitivity to negative or difficult emotions. Pain, sadness, defensive or irritable anger, fear, and anxiety. And my score, I'm like the textbook case of a highly neurotic woman. I just want to be clear though that neuroticism is not to be confused with neurosis, which is a mental disorder. What I'm talking about, what I'm referring to when I talk about neuroticism, is a personality trait. Also, I'd be curious to know, I know I asked a few of you guys yesterday on Instagram stories, but have you ever taken the Big 5 personality test? And if you have, I would love to know how you scored in the realm of neuroticism, because the 5 aspects are, I think it's openness, neuroticism, extraversion, enthusiasm, and I can't think of the last one right now. But yeah, if you have taken it and if you feel comfortable sharing how you scored, what percentile, please let me know in the comments below. If you've never taken this test, I highly recommend it. I think I paid $9.95 or something, $9.95, and it was totally worth it. When we were younger, my cousin, who's the same age as me, I remember she used to tell me, I think we were in our 20s or something, but I remember she once said to me, she's like, it must be really hard to be you. And that's something that I still think about, actually, even now, present day. And when I think about it, even though I often have times where I feel crazy, or I like to call quirky, even a few years ago, I would have never categorized myself as technically neurotic, let alone coming out on YouTube and sharing this publicly and talking about my struggles with it. Yeah, so even now, there are certain tendencies or certain things I tend to say, and then Brandon will say something like, oh yeah, you're being neurotic, or that's your neuroticism. Even now, it still kind of like stings me a little to hear that. He doesn't say it to hurt me, I know that, but that's just like reflexively, and I know that this is why I wanted to clarify the definition for you, because of those of you guys that responded to my question on Instagram stories yesterday, I wanted to be clear about how it was defined, because I know some people feel like they have neurotic tendencies when they get upset about certain things. But yeah, I think it's different than someone who has that as such a dominant personality trait, if that makes sense. Brandon mentioned the other day about how much I've radically changed since I started doing YouTube at the end of 2015. You know, how I experienced the kind of growth that would have taken much, much longer or over the course of my life, if at all. Who knows? But yeah, I remember the other day he was like, remember when you used to like cry because someone gave you a thumbs down on your video? And he would remind me that, you know, getting negative comments, and I'm not talking about constructive criticism, I'm talking about people that just want to be straight nasty, you know, because they're bored or whatever. Like he would always say, you know, getting negative comments just means you're being relevant. And then he would try to demonstrate this tough love by, you know, going to my videos that I just worked so hard on, and, you know, he would just go and like press the thumbs down right in front of me just to show me that this doesn't do anything. And, you know, I would still freak out, and like what he likes to call, I would respond in my irritable anger. And as uncomfortable as it is to talk about and tell you about, there are two really important lessons that I've learned as I continue to struggle with this. Number one is that, you know, self-awareness shows you where to direct your efforts. And number two is facing your fears and tackling things head on is the only way that you can grow by leaps and bounds. I know sometimes it's just easier to read books and just binge on content to help you feel better. Or, you know, watching YouTube videos and watching other people do brave things and just kind of disconnecting from it and feeling like, okay, well, I could never do that. And it's just one of those things where you have to tackle it head on. Otherwise, it's just one of those things that you learn by doing, right? Earlier this year, I asked you guys for a special favor, and that was to fill out a survey that I created. And that survey was supposed to help me, you know, collect the data to see how best I could help you. And, you know, more than 100 of you guys were gracious enough to dedicate that time to give me that feedback. And again, I'm so thankful for that. And of all the topics that you guys voted on, managing negative emotions and thoughts was like by far the most sought after topic that you wanted help on. You know, last night on a whim, because I was preparing for this video and I was just going through, you know, my brainstorms and thinking about this and that, and just to kind of see where you guys were, I just decided to last minute, you know, post on my Instagram story, and I wanted to see how many of you guys could relate to that term, neuroticism, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where you would see yourself on the spectrum. And a surprising number of you guys responded to me. I really wasn't expecting so much valuable input. The thing that really, I guess, comforted me but also hurt me was how a large majority of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys were an upwards of 8 and higher. And there was one comment I remember, someone said, you know, I score like this number that's considered high, and I really dislike myself for it. I really hate myself for it. And I get it. I really do. After reading your responses and based on everything that I've been thinking about, it's really cool to know that we're not alone in this. It's not surprising, as, you know, most of you guys, most of my audience, you guys are female, and, you know, research shows that women just tend to be more neurotic than men. And yet I know all too well what it feels like to suffer alone because of the fear of being judged, or, you know, worse, like being misunderstood, and regretful of even being vulnerable about it in the first place. You know, honestly, this is not easy for me to, this isn't easy for me to think and talk about while putting on my makeup, so if you'll excuse me, I'm just gonna quickly do my brows because I guess this is the beauty of morning chats, right? Where I'm gonna do my makeup while I talk to you. Okay, last thing, eyebrows are done. I'm gonna put on my lip color. By the way, I totally didn't need to buy this, but I needed to replenish my skin tint from Glossier and I wanted free shipping, so I put this into the cart. And it's the best purchase that I have made. I'm obsessed with this color, and every time I wear it, someone always asks me what my lip color is. Okay, that's it. My makeup is done. So I wanted to announce that for the month of July, for the select few of you that are willing and available, I would love for us to work together to move towards, you know, taking responsibility of our neuroticism, to harness the trait in unexpected ways, and also learn to overcome some of the challenges associated with it. I want to personally be there for you as a sounding board as we, you know, strategize how to take your life to the next level, whatever that means for you. I also want to share the practices that I've learned and that I continue to exercise that really help me manage my anxiety and difficult emotions on a day-to-day basis. These are practices that put me in control of my thoughts and my feelings, and, you know, things that just make it not so hard to be me. And what I'm basically saying is that you don't have to suffer alone. With that said, the length of my coaching program is going to be 30 days long. You're going to be receiving videos from me, weekly assignments, as well as a weekly one-on-one call with me. So if you sign up for this program, over the course of 30 days, you'll get 4 phone calls with me once a week. For this first run, I want to make sure that I can give all the care and attention that's needed to those that are participating. So for this upcoming session, I will be limiting the number of spots to 5 people. I also wanted to give my morning chat viewers, you, the first heads up. As you've been with me through so much of this entire journey so far, it's been over 2 years now that I've been on YouTube, nearing 3, as well as offering you guys the program at a reduced cost. And there will be a full money-back guarantee if you are not satisfied at any point in the process. Because there will be a limited number of spots for this upcoming session, I have created an application that is linked in the description box. Another reason for this application is because it's really important to establish that there is an openness for wanting change and that you and we are mutually a good fit for each other. In my experience, I've had people in my life that have wanted coaching from me, but then they weren't willing to be open or, you know, do the things that I recommend. So, you know, and that kind of ends up wasting everyone's time. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if everything that I talked about today is not very relevant to you, but you are still interested in, you know, getting updates from me, please sign up for my newsletter down below. Every Fridays, I send out a gratitude newsletter. Basically, it's just where I share like 5 things that I have appreciated or enjoyed or discovered that week. And I've been getting really good responses from you saying that you really enjoy them. So yeah, if you're not signed up, I encourage you to sign up. And remember, you can unsubscribe at any time. And the link is always down below in the description box. I am really looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.